Hello everyone, it's Pastor Sam here. Now Mrs Fisher has asked if I would do a short video to explain why it is I come to do assemblies at Burston and Tivishall schools. So here I am to make that explanation, but also to help you start thinking about the symbols about Christianity that you might see around about us, because Christianity has had a big influence on how we have developed as a community of people in the history of Great Britain. Now, why do I come in to do assemblies? Well, number one, partly because the government require it. And because they certainly require an assembly, an act of collective worship, they call it, where people can gather together and have an opportunity to worship God. And also to think about some of the issues of life. Now, in our learning in life, we have subjects, don't we? We do subjects like maths and English and different things. But also, one important area to think about is ourselves and how we think and how we feel. And that's really important as we go through life, because we'll have all sorts of experiences. Some of them will be great, joyous experiences, and we love them. Some of them will be difficult experiences. They'll be challenging to us for various reasons. So, one of the reasons I come in to do assemblies at Burston and Tivishall schools is to teach some life skills. Okay, now life skills are skills that we can develop when we think about our lives and we know what to say and how to act and think about, who we are as individuals. And the Bible is really important in that regard, because in the Bible there's all sorts of stories about failures and about disappointments, about grief, about sadness, as well as great victories and triumphs, and the great hope that there is in some of the Bible stories as well. So we look at the Bible, and hopefully there's something for two types of people. Those who don't believe in God, you'll be able to understand the point that I'm making an assembly, hopefully, which is a life skill. If you do believe in God, then it's an encouragement to believe and to trust God in those difficult times. So that's some of why I come in to do assemblies. Now, you know me as pastor, don't you? A pastor is somebody who is like a shepherd. That's where the name pastor comes from, who looks after sheep. Now, I don't have a flock of actual sheep, but I do have a congregation, and we meet in this little place in Burston Chapel. It's been there for a couple of 100 years now, and there's nothing in there. We don't have any symbols or any icons or pictures or anything like that. It's just simply a building where we gather together to worship God. Because one of the things we recognise that is that a church is not the church. The church is actually the people, it's not the building. Okay, now when you go around this and around the lanes in South Norfolk, you'll see lots of churches, and they've got some lovely stained glass windows, very often of Bible stories to remind us of some of those stories. There'll be slogans, which are verses from the Bible. You'll sometimes see a lot of crosses, because a cross is very important to Christians. It's the central point of Christianity, is that Jesus died for our sins and we can have new life in him. Now, there's pulpits. There's all sorts of things that remind us of themes that are in the Bible. And they're not to be used in a superstitious way, like good luck charms or things like that, but they're meant to be reminders. And as you begin to think in your religious studies about some of these things, you'll understand, hopefully, a little bit more about why these things are important to people. Okay, well, there we go. If you have any questions, I know as soon as we can get back to doing assemblies and you've got any questions, you'll feel free to ask me any of those. I hope you enjoy your lessons.